Hello, I'm Thomas. This is
Luke.
Got his name. We're the brewing team here at two parts of the brewing team here at Donkeystones Brewing Company, and we're going to drink some 750. This brew was made to celebrate a milestone here of the 750th brew, and we're going to talking through it. So we do use cryo hops with this brew, which is completely different to what we've used before, because it just means you can use less of a hop, but you get more out of it. And with this, it just bursting with tropical flavour. So anyway, let's taste it. Although we already have. So straight off the bat, like tons of tropical flavour I'm getting from that. I'm getting some peachy notes and a little bit of pine. We use Simcoe, Equinox, and a hop called Cryopop. So Cryopop's quite new, and it's from Yakima Valley, and it's basically all the good bits of hops that you can get all into one, mashed into one. So it's kind of like a new thing, and like you can't really describe the flavour. It's just tropical. That's the only way I can describe it. Completely not bitter. So Luke, our whipping boy, or apprentice, is going to tell you why that's not bitter. It's because you drop the kettle, so you put it through the heat exchange.
So after the boil, we bring down the temperature by recirculating it through the heat exchange, and then we add more hops at 80 degrees, and that makes it less bitter.
Yeah, well, there's hardly any bitterness at all, because obviously in brewer terms, so the hop goes into a boil, it isomerizes. That is when the alpha acids turn into iso acids. So we didn't want that to happen at all with this brew. So by dropping it below that point of boiling to 80, below 80, we get the alpha acids. So it's very similar to a dry hopping technique, but we do it in the kettle first and we dry hop after, just to add a little bit of layers to the beer. So it's not one dimensional, and like, I'm so happy with it. It is just a banger.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, and you know, as you were saying,
one for a sunny day.
Yeah, and we've had a few sunny days and a few 750s. So cheers. And then we're going to do Ruby Treasure next, which is our red ale. Sweet. That isn't actually me. Oh, good. So yeah, next one we're on is Ruby Treasure. It's a beer quite close to my heart, because the name's actually after my stepdaughter. She's actually just called Ruby Treasure, which I thought would be an awesome name for a red beer. So we've packed this with as much malt as we do hops. And it's got, I'm going to try and remember the malts now: Best Ale, Crystal, Vienna, Rolled Oats, and Torrefied Wheat. So, and then we use Amarillo, Columbus, and Nelson Sauvin in all different ways, which we're going to go through now. But first, we've already tasted it, but let's crack on.
Cheers.
So straight away, you get this really maltiness. You get that, Luke?
Yeah. It's a really easy drinker as well.
Really easy. It's not super bitter, even though there's a slight bit of IBU in it, but really smooth. Works really well on cask, surprisingly. So it's mostly a cask product that we do here. I'm getting toffee, a bit of caramel.
Caramel, yeah.
Yeah. And then you get obviously a white grape vibe from the Nelson Sauvin, and the American hops add a bit of grapefruitness to it. So we do have a little bit of bitterness to this with the first wort hop, which Luke's going to go into why that is.
Yeah, so with this beer, when we transfer into the kettle from the mash tun, as soon as the liquid gets above the element, throw the hops in there, don't we, Tom?
We do.
To add bitterness.
There you go. Learning all the time.
All the time. And then we have have more hop additions below 80 degrees, don't we?
We do, but we also do a 55-minute one as well. So the 55-minute one adds a little bit of flavour, a little bit of isomerization. Then, as we discussed before, we'll send the wort through the heat exchange, lower it down to below 80 degrees, and bag in some Nelson Sauvin. Quite a high amount of Nelson Sauvin. So that's why we call it a New World Red Ale. So it's in the style of an American one.
So any other hops in this one?
No, that's it. But when we do dry hop afterwards, so Columbus goes in afterwards, just to add a little bit of grapefruitness and a bit of spiciness. And yeah, again, it's it's a beer that I absolutely love. It took me 5 years to get it to this stage, so I made it my own brewery, so it's not, it's had a lot of iterations, but this is the one it's staying at, and yeah, I love it. So, next beer is Most Def. So,
Most Def.
We'll get on to that. Keep that in. It's 12.3. Next one we're on is Most Def. This is actually brewed as a request from Charles Farland for Beer X, which is a beer exhibition people don't know that happens in Liverpool yearly. So they asked me to use a hop called Most, which is from, it's grown in Czech, but it's actually a British hop, a British variety grown in Czech. And we had some really interesting results with it. Like, really surprised with how good this beer turned out. But we'll have a taste first.
Cheers.
Oh yeah.
Nice hop, a little number, isn't it?
It is. So it's got a bit of grassiness in there. I think last time we were talking about it with the lads, it's not even a flavour, it's a tutti fruit.
Yeah.
That sort of sweet vibe. With this beer, I didn't want the grassiness to take over, so we haven't used actually a lot of hops in this at all. The amount we used just really took over. Getting maybe a little bit of strawberry in there, and a tiny little bit of banana. Really not bitter at all. Really easy drinking for 5.3. Yeah, what do you think? What do you get from it?
Definitely getting the banana.
So it is like a really unique beer, and we've had really positive things from it. So there's not really much beers like this in our range.
It's supposed to be a one-off, weren't it? And we've done a couple of brews.
2 brews now, yeah. In terms of the actual brewing side of it, drop it below 80, we dry up, and that's it. It's a really simple beer with an American yeast strain, and it just works. It's really easy drinking for 5.3. A bit too easy drinking. I've lost some nights for I've lost it. I'm going to be a witness. So anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
Next one is what's that? Fancy what it was next.
No clue.
It's what?
Zeelander.
Zeelander. What ended? Next one is Zeelander, which is a new beer we've done. It's done in the style of the New England IPA, but we've used New Zealand hops, completely New Zealand hops, no American. And let's taste it with it.
Cheers. So Tom, where does the name Zeelander come from?
I'm happy to answer that, mate. Off the cuff. Zeelander was a word that people called originally people from New Zealand. That's why it's with the 2 E's rather than the 8. And it's also a play on the film Zeelander.
Is it called Blue Steel?
Well, it should have been, but if we didn't, that's a better name. Have another sip of Blue Steel. So I'm getting massive like white grape vibes. I don't know what you're getting, Luke.
I'm getting a bit of flavour of lemon from it.
Yeah, definitely a bit of lemon. So there's a bit of lemon, a bit of white grape. Obviously really citrusy. We've used a yeast called saturated Brookhouse hops here that really adds a juicy element to it. So it looks juicy and it tastes juicy. I mean, that's a thick beer.
Quite a strong one as well. It's
6%. Yeah, 6%. So I mean, you get some Nipas that are like 7%. So it's not really above what it should be. But yeah, I mean, our other Nipa was 5.5. So this is a little bit stronger, but it doesn't taste like a 6% beer. It's so smooth.
Dangerous.
Finished quite sweet as well, so you get a bit of sweetness in there. Yeah, just really, really nice tasting beer. Hops that we use, Ricau, Ricatu and Nelson Sauvin, which is a brewery favourite, Nelson Sauvin that we use here. And yeah, I'm really happy with it, the way it's turned out.
And are all those hops from New Zealand?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why it's called Zeelander. Said that before. So yeah, that's us done.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.